the man who gave Santa Claus his famous look isn't the one smiling in your holiday ads. Before Coca-Cola's Jolly Santa, before the glossy greeting cards in every drugstore rack, there was an illustrator with ink-stained hands working during one of America's darkest winters. It was the middle of the Civil War in 1863, and a young artist named Thomas Nast, barely 30 years old, was sitting at his desk at Harper's Weekly, the era's most influential illustrated newspaper. His job was to capture the mood of the nation, often through sharp political cartoons. But that December he decided to give readers something different, a vision of St. Nicholas unlike anything they'd seen before. And it was in this moment that the Santa Claus we still picture today, plump, kind, and ready to deliver gifts, began to take shape. Meet Thomas Nast. Thomas Nast was a German immigrant who came to the United States as a child. By the early 1860s, his art was widely recognized. His pen could make or break political reputations. Harper's Weekly relied on him for visual storytelling at a time when photography was still rare in mass media. The Civil War was raging, families were separated, and morale was low. Christmas illustrations in print served as both comfort and propaganda, reminding readers of home, tradition, and what the fight was for. In Nast's first Santa illustration for Harper's Weekly, in January 1863, Santa wasn't the sleek, glamorous figure of later decades. Instead, he was short, round, and dressed in a coat of fur-trimmed brown, more like a kindly trapper than a department store mascot. He appeared in a scene visiting Union soldiers, handing out gifts, bringing a touch of magic to the battlefield. That first Santa wasn't just a character. He was a symbol of hope and generosity in the middle of war. Santa, before the red suit, for much of the 19th century, depictions of Santa Claus varied wildly. Some artists showed him tall and slender. Others made him elf-sized. Clothing ranged from bishop's robes, echoing St. Nicholas's religious roots, to rough winter coats. The fur-lined outfit Nast gave Santa made practical sense. This was, after all, a man traveling through snow to deliver toys. Early Nast versions showed him in earthy colors, browns, tans, sometimes even muted greens, colors that would have felt believable for someone living in the Arctic wilderness. These images reflected the tastes of the time. Mid-Victorian America loved rustic romanticism, the idea of the noble woodsman or the frontier traveler. Nast's Santa fit neatly into that aesthetic, while still being warm and approachable for children. The red suit arrives over the next 2 decades. Nast drew Santa again and again, refining him with each appearance. By the 1880s, the brown coat had begun shifting toward a richer crimson, a change partly influenced by advances in color printing, which allowed for more vibrant illustrations in magazines and cards. Red was also a popular holiday color in Victorian decor, associated with warmth, hearth fires, and holly berries. Nast added black boots, a wide belt, and a tassel on Santa's hat, standardizing the details we now take for granted. In these illustrations, Santa became not just a magical gift giver, but a figure with personality, chuckling, winking, caught mid-delivery. It's important to note that this all happened decades before Coca-Cola's famous advertising campaign of the 1930s, which is often mistakenly credited with inventing the red-suited Santa. Nast's drawings were already widely reprinted on greeting cards, lithographs, and even early store window displays in the 19th century. North Pole and Santa Nast didn't stop at clothing Santa. He built his mythology. In 1866, he drew a map showing Santa's North Pole residence, the first time the Arctic home was tied to the character in print. In other illustrations, he introduced Santa's workshop, filled with busy toy-making elves. He even gave you as the naughty or nice list, showing Santa consulting a big ledger to decide which children would get gifts. These editions tapped into the Victorian fascination with order, industry, and exploration. The 1860s and 70s were decades of Arctic expeditions, mechanical inventions, and moral instruction for children. Nast wrapped all of these trends into one cozy package, creating a Santa who is not only magical, but also organized, industrious, and in tune with the values of the time. A forgotten credit today. If you ask most people who designed Santa Claus, they'll say Coca-Cola, thanks to artist Haddon Sundblom's 1930s ad campaign. But by the time Sundblom's version appeared, Nast's Santa had already been smiling from Christmas postcards, department store ads, and even early 20th century sticker sheets for decades. His image had crossed the Atlantic and appeared in European holiday prints, influencing artists in Germany, England, and beyond. Nast's design endured because it struck the perfect balance between realism and fantasy, grounded in winter practicality, but glowing with magic dot closing and emotional. Thomas Nast didn't just draw a holiday, he drew a feeling. His Santa was warmth in the middle of a harsh winter, kindness in the midst of conflict, and joy that transcended the battlefield. With his pen strokes, Nast built the foundation for one of the world's most enduring cultural icons. The next time you see Santa Claus smiling from an envelope, a greeting card, or even a nostalgic sheet of Christmas stickers, remember the man who, long before soda ads and Hollywood specials, sketched him into history and gave us the red-suited friend we still wait for every December night.